Let's break down what happened with this little boy that survived internal decapitation. What's that? Atlanto-occipital dislocation is the medical term, but it's basically where your skull base completely detaches from your cervical spine. Here is an x-ray of what that looks like, and x-rays like this are exceedingly rare because 70% of people will die at the scene. Now, this is technically not a fracture of the bone, but it's more of a ripping of all the ligaments that attach the cervical spine to the skull base. Now, this is more commonly seen in children, and that's because of the large size of their heads as comparison to their body size. Whenever there's a sudden deceleration, like in a car accident, their heads will go forward and those ligaments can tear. 70% of these injuries result in instant death, so only 30% make it to the hospital. And out of those 30%, another half of them will not survive the hospitalization. So it is an extremely morbid injury. So the fact that this child survived this accident is truly miraculous. Here are the 3 types of atlanto-occipital dissociation. And as you can imagine, if the spine is actually ripped apart from the skull base, you can have spinal cord injury or even vascular injury where the carotid or the vertebral arteries are stretched. So this can result in paralysis and stroke. These are not his x-rays, but this is an example of how we would surgically fix this. And basically what we do is we put a plate on the skull base and attach it to the C2, C3 area to reattach the skull to the spine. Children are way more likely to survive this type of injury than adults because their tissues are a little bit more forgiving. This child's injury happened in June, so this picture was recently taken after they knew that the surgery was successful. And I'm actually really impressed that he's walking around without a cervical collar or even a halo to immobilize us, because traditionally I would recommend that we immobilize someone with this type of surgery for at least 3 months. I've seen a couple of these in my career so far, and I know one thing, that is one lucky kid.